Well, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is out. I have finished it. I put 42 hours into the game, and what are my thoughts? Well, before I get started here, I'd just like to remind you to please like and subscribe to the channel. I put out a new video every Tuesday. I just finished up a whole series on my favorite games, and let's see what's up next. So, getting into this is going to be heavy spoilers. Now, I will talk just briefly here about the game without spoilers. If you'd like a recommendation on whether I think you should pick it up or not, it depends. It's definitely one of the best action RPGs I've ever played on a modern system. But as far as being a faithful Final Fantasy game, it's a little conflicting. So, if you love Final Fantasy VII, you will love this game. It's such a nice part of nostalgia, but if you're hoping to get the Final Fantasy VII experience, the fact that I'm saying there's spoilers here, and if you know the original game, that should tell you something. But yeah, do I recommend picking it up? Yes. It probably feels more like a modern interpretation of a mana game, like the old Super Nintendo Secret of Manas, with the way you have every character and then you come in and out of combat and you can freeze stuff. But yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. It's just, we'll get into it. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a reimagining. It's not necessarily a remake. The entire game takes place in Midgar. So already I'm losing my favorites like Cid Highwind and Vincent. You don't even get to play as Red 13. Cait Sith isn't in it, but no one likes Cait Sith. Yuffie isn't in it. They changed the plot line a little bit, so you're not Avalanche terrorists. You're more of just a means to an end for the evil Shinra Corporation. They're the ones setting off the bombs, which, I don't know, it doesn't really, it's not really necessary. I'm not sure why they did it. It's funny that I haven't played the first one, the original, in such a long time, but the environmentalist messaging is so much more let's just say prevalent and relevant now that it makes me wonder if the original game was like this. Cloud and Aerith and Tifa, all the models are great. You know, the whole controversy with Tifa's chest not being big enough. I'm sorry, every time, like, I mean, I was playing this game in front of my wife, and I'm just like, can you believe this? And she's like, why are you still talking about people's breast size? Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm not. I mean, yeah, they're not freaking big beanbags in her shirt, but they still look real while being ridiculous. Also, all the girls in this game are extremely thirsty for Cloud. Jessie's coming on to you, Tifa's coming on to you, Aerith's coming on to you, and you're just this inept guy that has no game. I don't know. I think that was a little much. I don't remember it being like that in the original game. Just like they kind of made this artificial friendship between Tifa and Aerith that never existed. If they both were truly competing for Cloud, which Tifa definitely has this unsung love for him, it's very unlikely that they would become best friends all of a sudden, which I know some people like that and they weren't happy that didn't happen in the original game, but I thought it was a little forced. Barrett's great. The whole Avalanche crew is great. Wedge, which is Badger from Breaking Bad. You need to look it up, because once you hear that voice, it's so distinctive. You're like, who the hell is that? Oh, and he's a big fan of cats, so I'm a big fan of him. The turn-based system, I miss being there, because if you play it on classic mode, that's a bunch of bullshit. It's just taking away the need to do any auto-attacking, and it puts you on easy mode, which the difference between easy mode and normal mode, which you don't even get to unlock hard mode until you beat the game, is big. And they have side quests they've added. They've extended the length of the game so much. And you can't do the side quests unless you're in the certain chapter that they're needed to be in. So the game's broken down into, I believe, 18 chapters. And then if you get the side quests in Chapter 3, you have to finish them all before you continue through Chapter 3. It's weird. Like, it's so modern, but it's so nostalgic at the same time. I enjoyed it. I found the combat really thrilling, but then extremely annoying. And mainly the annoyance was from the camera. You'd be bashing, and then suddenly you wouldn't be able to see what's going on. Or you have your team members that are idiots, because that's one of my big complaints, is, yeah, you know what, if it was, when you're playing by Cloud by yourself, so I had the summon battle against Shiva by myself, or Shiva. Loved it. It was amazing, but it was only me that I had to deal with. When you have the other characters, it's almost like, well, now I gotta switch characters to see how they're doing, because they aren't using their action points. They aren't doing anything, and they're getting themselves danger and hit, and they don't know how to be smart. And that's one of my big issues with these 3D games. That's why I didn't like, I really didn't like Xenoblade 2 because of that. I didn't like Ys 8. It's just Dragon Age Inquisition. It's annoying. I will say this game does a far better job of it, though, than those other ones. If I was going to play any of them, this would be the one I'd recommend, because the combat is fun. It's a lot of fun. Even when you attack certain enemies that are immune to stuff or just feel like, you know, attack sponges, because it's really just mindless waylaying until you fill up their stagger bar and then you can do damage. Yeah, that's such a modern concept. I want it to go away, because every game now uses that, where you have these bullet sponges that you have to weaken and then you do big damage. I get it. It artificially increases the length of the battle, but there was a couple, like especially the boss battles in this. There was one, Bahamut Zero, which isn't even a main boss fight. It's a side quest boss fight. But that fight, you had to take down his midsection and his back section at the same time, and then you could waylay him. And it actually had parts of strategy, and just, it felt good. Because even though there's a lot of alleged strategy in the battle system, it really is just a button mash. Try and weaken them to their stagger state, and then save up your points to do big damage. All the weapons can be upgraded, so you don't necessarily have to just move on to the next weapon, which is actually something I like in RPGs. I don't like to constantly have to shift around and up. After a while, and I just got tired of upgrading the weapons. I just set them on auto, go for biggest attack. Some of the characters definitely aren't created equal. Aerith's attack, where she just threw spells, I couldn't stand. Cloud was by far the most fun. Tifa was a lot of fun too. Barrett, he is, you think shooting a gun would do more damage, but it did nothing. But once you unlocked his ability to just fire off everything with his ATB, last thing, once you got the ATB attack that you enjoyed, it made their fighting style better. And you would unlock those attacks by getting certain weapons. So once you would use it enough time, it unlocks it for all the weapons. So that was a good mechanic. That was a good mechanic. I didn't find myself using any of the magic system. It's one of those materia systems where the more you use it, the more powerful it gets. I can't remember if that's the way Final Fantasy VII was. I found myself, even though you could do linked things where you could link blue materia to green and make it more powerful, I didn't use it. I never really focus on magic systems, and in this one, I didn't enjoy it as much. But getting to the spoilers, the game is different. They literally, throughout the entire game that they've expounded on, there's these little wispy things that go around and sort of haunt the character, and I guess make, which you don't find out to the end, they make sure things happen the way they're supposed to happen. So it's very meta. It's very much the developers, I want to say, watching the game and being forced and feeling like they're forced to follow the events of the game when they want to change it. Which I almost wish, because at the end of the game you kill them, you didn't do that, because now anything can happen. Like, literally anything. And then I never played Crisis Core, and I guess Zack Fair is important to the story, which that's another thing I'm not a big fan of, is they retcon the first game by adding this backstory from a side game. So now apparently Cloud is some weakling that didn't pass the soldier program and only got in there because he stole Zack Fair's mantle, which, okay, I don't like thinking of it that way, but hey, whatever. I mean, he still seemed like a badass. Sephiroth in the game is amazing. I still can't believe, like, when they stabbed Barrett, I thought that was it. I thought, holy cow, they went a different way. But then the ghost thing brought him back to life, and that's when it hit home, like, oh, that's what they're doing. There was some things, like with the puzzles, where it just felt artificially elongated. Alright, yeah, everyone changes at the same time. Okay, move the crate so Aerith can move. Okay, like, it's just... It felt like it elongated the game. I didn't enjoy it as much. I really enjoyed the combat, and what was funny is I wanted to do more of the combat, and I wanted a chance to actually go out and grind, because they're really, for a game that said it was going to be more expansive and more just more explorative, there was nothing to do except go down the hallways, go from point A to point B, go from quest A to quest B, go to the next story spot. There was nothing. Like, there was no fun, like, oh, I can grind mobs here and get more of this. Oh, I can do this. Like, I guess that's the thing about being stuck in Midgar for the entire game, is it really limits what you can do. And the extra story beats, the extra story elements, I didn't care. The whole time it was like, oh, this is so good. I can't wait to see my other characters. I can't wait to get out of Midgar. I can't wait to go to that cave. Knowing the whole time you weren't going to get that was so sad. It's so sad because we don't know when. And now that at the end of the game they've officially said, okay, we are free from canon, which has me very concerned. Now I don't know if we're going to get that. I mean, there's rumors online that says, by the way, Biggs is now alive somehow. They're saying that Biggs is now going to be Sid Highwind with memory loss. Which, my God, if they do that, I am going to scream. So, I know I'm being very negative here. This is what's happened after sitting for a few weeks. I wanted to wait a few weeks after I beat it to let my thoughts gestate. And I guess when it comes to it, is very good game. Very good game. They handled it really well. More of my concerns are for the future, but at the same time, it's just... It doesn't have the lasting appeal. Like, if this game came out now without Final Fantasy VII as a reference point, this wouldn't be anything special. It'd be a cool combat system, but it's all over the damn place, and there's so much exposition that if you don't know the rest of the series, it makes no sense at all. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Do I recommend the game? Yeah, it was a great way to kill 40 hours, but I'm concerned moving forward. I like to see where the combat system is going, but I'd like them to fix the camera a little bit more. Maybe not rely so much on bullet sponge techniques, but that's kind of what you got to do in these games. That's the issue. If you're not going to have it be turn-based, where no one interacts, if they're constantly interacting, because the whole thing with dodging attacks, getting behind things, that almost didn't happen at all. It really didn't. And the AI needs to improve big time. But yeah, that's my thoughts. If I was going to give it a rating, I'm still going to give it probably an 8.75. It was a very good... I mean, it's fueled by nostalgia, of course. But yeah, let me know what you think of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let me know if you're going to pick it up. I'd say, if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, you definitely need to check it out. But you could probably wait until it's a little bit cheaper. Then again... I played 40 hours in a week, so take that as you will. And the mini games and stuff like that are fun. I mean, there's they're clearly trying to exhibit their assets too, with giving Tifa, oh, the pull-up challenge, and oh, she's got a crossbar. Like, okay, all right, enough of the waifu. Just give me the game. Anyways, that are my thoughts. It's so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.